Hi guys, hope all is fine. Welcome to another video here at Cars Only 663. My name is Lucanio, as you might know it, and a quick disclaimer: I am not a car expert, a car dealership owner, or a car advisor, or a motoring journalist either. I do not offer professional car advice. So if you're looking for professional car advice, please do so through the relevant channels. So here I'm merely pointing out or outlining my personal opinions and perspectives of these cars. Now, up on the screen, you might notice that we have the 2013 Lexus GS350F Sport, and it looks absolutely stunning. So, strange enough, though, to me, one this is actually one of the most hardly talked about cars that I know. So if you are in South Africa, where I come from, you can easily spend around 2 to 3 weeks or even a month without seeing a car like this one on the screen, or a Lexus branded car. So the question that I ask myself is, why is that? Why is it that this car is not as famous as I think it should, or as I think it deserves to be? And there are plenty of answers that I could generally come up with. It could be maybe lack of proper marketing. It could be because of the fact that we are not screaming enough about this car, or you're not shouting enough, or it could be because it has not yet earned our trust yet as customers or the public, to an extent that we feel propelled to buy this car. And this car is absolutely stunning. The features that it has, some of them, it's the first time I actually come to grips with them. And the fact that this car comes with slightly controversial and sensational features that I've never seen before, that alone kind of propelled me to talk about how stunning or incredible I think this car is. So, a quick exterior walk around looking at the front. I completely love the overall shape of the car and the shape of the headlamps. So the headlamps do have LED daytime running lights fitted to them, and the fact that the air inlets are a bit tucked away or pushed back a little bit, and the fact that the lower end or the lower end of the bumper is protruding forwards a little bit, kind of makes this car look a little bit mean and aggressive, but still approachable. So looking at this car from the side here, if you can take a closer look, this car is still absolutely stunning even from the side. So this car does come with 19-inch tires, and it does have a sunroof if that is important to you. And I love how the tail lamp or the tail lamps creep into existence or into the side in a smooth and delicious way. And I love the shiny metallic material that surrounds the window line. It makes this car kind of special in some sense. So another thing that you might notice, and another thing that I've noted, is this. Looking at this car at the screen right now, it is easy to tell that this car is a long and a very wide car. So it certainly has a wider stance attached to it. So this is a very wide car because it is 72.4 inches wide. So it's a very wide car. And that might make you wonder, is this car a little bit tough or difficult to fit or squeeze it into tight spaces, or is it easy or hard to park this car? And you might think that it is hard to park this car considering how long and wide it is, but because of the feature called the dynamic rear steering, at low speeds, the back wheels can move in the opposite direction as the front wheels for better maneuverability and for easier parking overall. So at high speeds, this feature can turn the back wheels in the same direction as the front wheels for more stability and control. So that's a really, really, really handy feature. And another thing is that along the side mirrors, you have a system or a feature called blind spot monitoring fitted into this car, because this car obviously has a certain number of sensors embedded in it and cameras around it. So this feature, basically in simpler terms, when so in terms of how the system works, when this car detects a car in the adjacent lane or in your blind spot, it will make a sort of distinct beeping noise or sound, or it might just buzz at you from the interior, just to let you know that something rather unpleasant is about to happen or is happening currently outside the cabin or outside the interior of the car. So that's a really, really, really handy feature that I absolutely love the most, in fact. So that's a feature that stands out the most to me about this car. So, according to me, I can hardly complain. So, tell me in the comment section, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the overall exterior design of this car? But from me personally, I would like to say anyone who designed this car knew exactly what he was doing. And wherever you are, if you are in Germany, you are in Italy, you are in America, you are in Russia or whatever, I just want to say I salute you and I love your work. And even look at it from the back. Look at the backside of this car. They didn't overdo the backside. You have the Lexus emblem in the right position there. The tail lamps are huge and special, especially the coloring and etc. And the exhaust surrounds actually do surround some real exhaust pipes in there. So I can hardly complain about this car's overall external appearance. I absolutely love it, love it, love it, because it is stunning how this car looks right now. So coming to the interior of the car. So coming to the interior of the car, the first thing that I notice is the leather touches on the steering wheel and the precise and perfect stitching on the seats and etc. Because the seats also do have leather or are surrounded by some high quality leather, so there are some high quality materials in there. So there's plenty of controls for the front seats. So the front seats can be heated up or cooled down depending on the situation or your personal preference at the time. And that's a really, really handy feature, especially in extremely cold weather conditions. So you can just turn on the aircon, close all the windows, and heat up the seats to feel a little bit more warm and comfortable overall. And that kind of separates you from the harsh, cold reality that exists outside the car. That's a really, really special feature. And another thing, though, is that when you're sitting at the front, it is easy to get a commanding view of the road ahead. So the front seats are positioned properly the way they are. They are fitted into this car properly also, and you do have some decent under thigh support. And another cool feature is this. You see, this car has adjustable side bolsters on the front seats. So depending on the situation, just a few touches or clicks of buttons or a click of a button, you can allow the seats or the side bolsters of the front seats to be a little bit more body hugging or to grip firmer on your body for you to sit more comfortably on and safely on the road or on the highway overall. So that's a very, very special feature. And part of the reason why I say this car has some really special features attached to it. And also the seats also, of course, as you might expect from any other car out there, the front seats can be pushed forwards or backwards and etc. And if you want more privacy at the back, you have the rear window blind for more privacy and etc. And another thing is this, on the practicality side of things, people at the front, the passenger and the driver, can easily sit in comfortably in this car. So there is enough headroom and there is enough legroom at the front. But I cannot say the same thing about the rear seats or the sitting position at the back, even because I feel as though there isn't enough knee room at the back. Even though they tried to include some controls at the back of the front seats to aid more knee room, I personally think that space is not really enough. So the front passengers can sit in comfortably in this car, but the back passengers might not be able to sit in as comfortable as the front passengers will sit on this car. Because of that swooping roof line, it does kind of consume plenty of headroom and etc. And there isn't enough legroom also on the back of the car, even considering how wide this car is. But the boot space is fairly large, and when it comes to practicality, it's a bit of a mixed bag, this car, because at the back, it has plenty of space according to my personal perspective. There are some tethering points, storage nests, and etc. So the boot or the trunk is fairly functional. So talking about this car on the highway, how it is like to drive, the performance, and etc. So talking about the performance of this car, the gear changes, the first thing that I noted is that the gear changes are absolutely smooth and crisp. Absolutely smooth and crisp. There isn't even a hint of a delay on the gear changes. Also considering the fact that this car runs on the automatic gearbox with manual shifting mode. So you can use the pedals if you want to or whenever you feel like it. And here's another thing that I've noticed about the car. The sound of the engine from the interior, it is absolutely glorious. It sounds really, really special. And you can easily perceive it, or it is easily perceptible from the interior of the car. So the sound of the engine has a way of piercing through the cabin or penetrating through the cabin and reaching straight into your ears and being music to your ears. And I love a car that has really easily perceptible or audible engine noise or sound. It kind of makes you feel more engaged or more in control of the car. And another thing that I've noticed about particularly the sound of the engine, it is as if that the the loudness of the sound of the engine is directly proportional to the amount of force that you put on the throttle. So I'm talking decibels now. The loudness of the sound of the engine, the decibels tend to increase as you put your foot down. So when you put your foot down, that sound of the engine becomes even more pronounced, and that really, really is a special feeling. So this car does give you that feeling of playfulness, of sportiness, and etc. I really love that quality about the car, that the fact that the engine noise can pierce through the cabin, and you can easily perceive and hear the engine noise. And the engine noise, believe you me, it sounds really, really special and incredible. And another thing is this car has another cool feature that you call the adaptive variable suspension. So it's kind of a variable. So the suspension can be varied depending on the conditions or of the road, the quality of the road. So that feature kind of helps you easily shift between modes and kind of allows the car to iron out some imperfections in the road, like road bump, like potholes, speed bumps, and etc. And that to me is another special feature about this car. And the braking efficiency, the brakes are phenomenal as well, because also considering how heavy this car is, this car can brake from 70 miles per hour to a standstill in just a distance of around 160 foot. So this car's 3.5-liter V6 engine is able to propel this car from a standstill up to 60 miles per hour in just under 5.5 seconds. That's really, really exceptionally fast for me. And the car on the road is still fast, considering the fact that it can perform a standing quarter mile in just 14.1 seconds. So compared to other cars that are as heavy as this car is, or a little bit heavier, particularly in this car's class, the problem they have is that they take a little bit more time to catch up to speed. So what I'm saying is this: some cars take longer to shift from speeds of about 60 miles per hour to 100 miles per hour. But this car can reach such speeds considerably fast, even though such cars who catch up to speed slowly, when they do catch up to that speed, it's all systems go. But the special thing about this car is that when you put your foot down, it responds exceptionally well. You put your foot down and it just lurches you forwards, and it just leans forward exceptionally fast. and violently fast and etc. So those are some of the qualities that I really find special about the car overall. So that same 3.5 liter V6 engine can produce a maximum horsepower of about 306 horsepower at around 6400 rpm. So also proves to you that this car is a high performance car, even considering the fact that it's an old model of a car. So this is the F Sport package, of course. And when it comes to fuel efficiency or fuel economy, that kind of does depend on the amount of force that you put on the throttle. But if you're mainly going to be cruising around town at normal speed, you can expect to get back a fuel consumption of around 90 miles per gallon when you're just cruising around at normal speed. So it's a bit of, it's an objective perspective, the one of the miles per gallon. It really does depend on how much you are hammering it on the road or on the highway, which is going to determine whether this car is becoming mean to your wallet or not. So talking about the price, since this car is the F Sport package, this is the Lexus GS350 F Sport. Even though it is now sold more as a used car, you can expect to lose around 60,000 US dollars on a used car like this, because this car is really special and has some really cool features that are embedded in it. So another cool feature about the interior that I forgot to talk about, or another quality that I find interesting for me, is that you see, when you look at the infotainment screen, if you can get an opportunity to enter inside this car and look at the infotainment screen of this car, it is positioned in a way that protects it from danger or from being damaged and etc. So what happens is this: it is the fact that the infotainment screen, the 12.3-inch infotainment screen, is a little bit pushed back also and tucked away, does kind of protect it from damage. So rather than, if you can look at, for example, the previous generation Audi A6 and Audi A7, you had what you call the deployable and retractable or or infotainment screen that you can duck away or deploy anytime you want to. But the problem is, now if you forget to duck away that screen and you somehow send your kids to your car to fetch maybe a phone, a tablet, or a book for you, and they might accidentally break that screen, because when you wobble it, it moves. It feels as though it might break anytime, because it's not really protected by anything. It's just free flowing or freely suspended, if you ask me. Hence why I'm saying I prefer the setup here of the center console of this car rather than the previous generations of the brand of a car that I just talked about just right now. And another cool thing is this, and believe you me, I find this really insane and incredible. It's the first time I'm coming to grips with this feature. So you see, close to the position where you would have the armrest on the center console, you have a small mouse looking thingy close to your hands on the center console, and that is used to control functions on the infotainment screen and etc. And that system, or that small mouse looking thingy, is really sharp and precise. There isn't even a hint of slugginess in controlling the infotainment screen using that small mouse looking thing. It is really special, the kind of a thing. And when you move, it moves with your hand. When you move the hand slightly and gently, you can easily make selections on the infotainment screen. So that really is special, because it kind of feels like a real mouse for a real computer. It makes you feel like you're controlling a real desktop computer or a real portable computer inside the car. That really should tell you something about the automotive industry, because now the automotive industry is now being further and further being revolutionized, if you ask me. So that's just a quick background information about this car, in particular the 2013 Lexus GS350F Sport. So that's a brief of what I personally think about the car, but please do hit me on the comment section. Tell me overall, what do you think about this car? And to people who have owned this car before, or people who own this car right now, what do you think the engineers or the manufacturers could have done differently to make the car more pleasant or more desirable for you than it is, or than it is right now currently? So what do you think they should have done better to make sure that this car is a little bit more exciting for you and your family, etc.? But according to me, there's only less than a handful of things I can complain about this car, because it looks absolutely stunning, and according to me, it's a high performance car. And I forgot to mention also that this car has a maximum top speed of around 142 miles per hour, and that's really fast. But it would be really nice to test this car's top maximum speed on the road called the Autobahn. So in fact, please do hit me up in the comment section again and tell me, which country do you think has the road called the Autobahn? I mean, that word itself is special. I can say it multiple times, the Autobahn. So I have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, please do hit the like button. And if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, please do click the subscribe button and turn on all of my notifications to get notified each time I post a new video. So until next time, guys, please do take care of yourselves and your families, and do adhere to the overall rules and regulations of COVID-19. Sanitize, maintain social distancing, wear your masks, wash your hands, and etc. And all of us should be safe when we take those precautionary measures. So from me, Lucanio, I love you guys, and signing out. Have a good day. Goodbye.